Okay, well, welcome. Thank you for attending. Chris, could you give us a little bit about your background and your history prior to joining the Bolton Police Department?
Absolutely. First, I want to say thank you to Chief Nelson and the select board as well for your time tonight. Um, I've been a police officer now for 12 years. Prior to that, I was a public safety dispatcher. So in total, I've worked in public safety for 17 years. Um, I have a bachelor's degree in U.S. history. Currently working on my master's degree in criminal justice with Anna Maria College. I'm a dad to an amazing 6-year-old little girl who's actually playing softball tonight. That's why I'm in my car. I'm at the softball field tonight. Her first game. I'm married. I currently live with my wife and daughter in Princeton, which is a small town very similar to Bolton. I grew up in Marlboro, currently working as a Marlboro police officer. In that capacity, I've been a patrolman, field training officer, a detective, and most recently a school resource officer. So I've worn a lot of hats in law enforcement. I think I bring a lot of experience to the job, and I'm very excited for this opportunity and to be joining both the town of Bolton and the Bolton Police Department.
It's a very robust background. Thank you. Ryan, do you have any questions?
No, I agree. It's a great background. And I think one of the most important things we could have learned about you was when you said you had prioritized being at your daughter's first softball game, which I think is awesome. So I hope her team wins, or at the very least, she has a good time. And it's really a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. It's very nice to meet you.
All right, thank you very much. And again, thank you for joining.
And thanks,
Thank
Chief
you.
Nelson.
All right. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Okay,
Chris.
Have a good night. Thank you so much.
thank you. Good night. Next up, Pam Powell, our town clerk, has announced her retirement, effective the end of April. As many of you will remember, at last year's annual town meeting, the town was asked to vote on making a change to the town clerk position and changing it from an elected position to an appointed position. It passed the town meeting. It then has to go to the State House for, I believe it's called a home rule petition. Don, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And it took the legislature a while to finally address it, but they did earlier this year, which makes it official and makes it legal and all that stuff. So Pam is retiring, and we're pleased to introduce Jennifer Marquis as we are going to appoint Jennifer as Pam's replacement effective May 1st, but we will make the appointment this evening. Jen, it looks like you're with us.
Yes, I am in voice, and I can see you guys. Sorry, my technology doesn't support you seeing
You
me
need
at
to
the
speak
moment,
up a
but-
little bit.
Oh, sorry about that. Yes, I am here. My technology doesn't allow you to see me right now, but I can see all of you.
Okay. Well, congratulations on the promotion, and we look forward to, I mean, you've been with us for a long time, so we look forward to a lot more time with you also.
Yes, I appreciate that. I've learned a lot from Pam and had a great experience working with this group, and look forward to continuing to do so. So I appreciate your support.
Thank you. Brian, any comments?
No, I'm just really excited about this. Obviously, it's everybody's gonna miss seeing Pam at Town Hall after she retires. But it will be a seamless transition because Jen has been there all the time as well and super knowledgeable, super supportive. I know that she brings a lot, not only to this position, but to the culture of the town hall as a whole. So I think it's a great development for our community.
Jen has been an outstanding member of the team here from the day she was hired. She's been the assistant town clerk for, oh God, is it what, 9 years now, Jen? Is it?
Just under. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, and she's been a great colleague. She's a pleasure to work with. She's very, very professional, and I know she's going to do great things now that she's going to assume the town clerk's position. I'm very happy for her and I'm very excited for the town.
Oh, good.
So do we need a motion, Bob?
We do need a motion to make the appointment.
Okay, so then I would very happily move to appoint Jennifer Marquis as town clerk for the town of Bolton effective May 1st, 2024.
I will second that and we'll do a roll call. Brian?
Yes.
And I am a yes also.
Just in
Congratulations,
time
Jen.
for our town meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And town election.
Thanks so much.
That's
Yeah,
right,
no
town
kidding.
election.
Thanks,
Excellent.
Jen.
Thank you,
Great,
Jen.
thank you.
Next on our agenda is a request from Cultivate Care Farms for a baby goat shower with ticketed times for participants on Saturday, May 4th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 401 Main Street. Is Megan Moran with us? Or somebody from Cultivate Farms here to speak to it?
I don't see her yet unless she is one of the unidentified phone numbers.
Okay, well, my concern would be, has the police chief reviewed this and are they within their allotted number of events? My understanding from the package that we've been sent is that the police chief has reviewed this and approved, and that they are within their allotted number of events. Are there other issues we should consider?
Sorry, go
Not to
ahead.
my knowledge, I'm sorry, not to my knowledge, but if the board has any questions, perhaps Jenny or I could answer them, but you're correct. This is within their, it has the chief's approval and it is within their allotted number of events.
Okay, are there any questions or comments from the public? I don't see any.
I have a question, and
Sure.
maybe it's for Jenny. So I saw in the packet where Chief Nelson said that it was approved, but then there were the conditions about no public way parking. I'm assuming that you passed that along to them so that they're aware of that condition?
Yeah.
Okay. The only other thing I was going to ask if Megan was here is, what is a baby goat shower? I just have no idea. So I don't know if anybody knows, but
And
maybe
for all
I
I
should.
know, it could be a goat reveal.
Exactly.
They're gonna have some kids and it's that kind of reveal. I don't know.
The bigger question is, what do you give for a baby goat shower?
Exactly. I better go to the event to find out.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
You don't give a sweater, I'm pretty sure.
Don, if we vote on this, can we come back to it later? Just to hear more about the event, or do we need to delay the vote in order to follow the?
No, you could feel free to vote on it now, and if you need to circle back when Megan appears, assuming she's going to appear, she usually does, you could certainly go back to it.
Okay. Is that okay with you, Brian?
That works for me.
All right, can we have a motion?
Sure. I make a motion to approve the event request of Cultivate Care Farms for a baby goat shower on Saturday, May 4th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 401 Main Street.
I will second that. Roll call, Brian,
Yes.
and I'm a yes also.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. We're rolling along here. We have some sign requests. Is anybody here from Camp Resolute?
It looks like it.
Yes,
Okay,
Yes, I am.
okay. Could you just speak to us on your sign request?
Sure thing. So the first
Could
part
you
of the
introduce
request.
yourself first, please?
Sure. I'm Chris Thorpe. I'm the reservation director at Camp Resolute on Hudson Road.
Thank you.
And first part of the request was to be able to put an open house sign out for 2 weeks leading up to our open house this coming Saturday. And so I appreciate that you guys did give me the approval since we had to postpone the meeting on the 11th. So that has been out since the 14th. I finally got it up on the 14th of the month. and it will come down Saturday after 3 o'clock. The second part of that request is that we have, and we did do this last year, we have a sign that stands at the end of the driveway at number 75 that points parents to our next driveway at 129 Hudson Road, where the day camp drop off is versus the parking lot for our resident camp. And that would go out in time for our opening on July 8th, and it would come down on August 9th.
Okay. And I believe the sign it's in the packet, and it looks the same as last year.
Yep, it's the same exact sign.
Okay.
I did have one question because I think on our agenda, it says that the time range for that temporary day camp direction sign would be July 5th to August 9th. But then I think you just said July 8th to August 9th. I don't know.
Well, July 5th is the Saturday, the Friday. So we'll actually be in camp setting up on Friday. So yeah, thank you for reminding me that. So I think my thinking is that while we're there working and setting camp up, we would put it up on that Friday and then not have to worry about coming back until Monday when we open.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure that then we approve it for that full time period.
Okay, great.
Okay. Don, do we still need to do a retroactive approval for the meeting we missed? You're muted.
Yes, I think you should, just to have it on the record.
So that was from the 14th to the,
I guess it'll come down on the 27th.
Yeah, it'll
Okay.
come down in 2 days.
all right. Brian, would you like to make a motion covering this?
Sure. And I'll just cover both signs in one motion. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I would like to make a motion to approve the sign requests of Camp Resolute Adventure Day Camp. The first sign being an open house lawn sign located at 129 Hudson Road from the time period April 14th through April 27th, 2024. And the second sign being a temporary day camp direction sign at the end of 75 Hudson Road from the time period July 5th through August 9th, 2024.
Okay, I will second that. Roll call, Brian,
Yes.
and I'm a yes also. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Good
Thank
luck
you.
with camp.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
Thanks for offering the town some opportunities for.
I know. We're looking
our,
forward to having them.
Good, for our summer activities. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care. Thank you. Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Okay, I believe I got a notice Megan Moran is part of the group now.
Yes, hi, I'm on the call.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. This is Bob Sikansky, and I'm here with Brian Boyle. We did approve your event request, but we
Thank you.
wanted to come back and circle with you because we were all confused about what a baby goat shower is, and we really feel the responsibility to understand that.
Sure, of course. Yes, so we just finished our kidding season at the farm. We have 5 baby goat girls who were born in March and April. And so this is an opportunity for the public to come spend time with them, to make s'mores at the fire pit and do crafts. We have a lot of pictures and videos of these guys up on our social media and figured that the public would like to come meet with them in person, not just our clients, but the community as well.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, that does sound fun.
That sounds like a lot.
Thank you.
Well, now we know.
Baby goats are ridiculously cute.
It's true.
They are.
So, well, thank you very much. And again, that'll be on May 4th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. over at Cultivate Care Farms at 401 Main Street.
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good evening.
All right. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Okay.
Bye.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
You learn something every day. I had no idea what a baby goat shower was. Next, we have a sign request from Environmental Pool at 357 Main Street. Do we have someone from Environmental Pool to speak? We are running a little ahead of schedule. Maybe that's why we don't have somebody. I'm just looking at the agenda to see if there's anything else we can do.
But you can always leap to the town administrator's report.
Yeah, I think that's where we want to go. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I know you're
Uh,
anxious to do this. You love it.
Well, it's breaking news, so. And as they say on the Daily Show, when news breaks, we fix it. So, okay, first an update on the MVP program. The latest update is the MVP program action grant team for the Future Resilient Field at Derby was able to secure an additional $8,870. We amended our current contract to incorporate those funds in conjunction with our grant coordinator. The funds have already been elevated and contracted so that we can ensure that we have a completely designed and engineered plan. We really appreciate the support from the MVP program, which allowed us to do that. We will be submitting the grant application soon. So we're pretty excited about our position and our ability to secure the next grant, this additional funding to allow us to complete the plan and design. I think is an indication as to how interested the MVP program is in the project. So very, very excited about that. Next, I have an update on ARPA funds and a vote that I failed to ask for a couple of meetings ago, so I need to ask for it tonight. A couple of meetings ago, when I presented my capital plan to you, which you approved, there are two items in there that are being funded, that need to be funded through ARPA funds. But I didn't ask you to officially vote on allocating those funds to the project. So in the spreadsheet that we have at the very bottom of the list, and I don't remember, is this spreadsheet in your packet? I believe it is. I believe you have it. Okay.
There's one with expenses and fiscal year 23, fiscal year 24 expenses and balance remaining.
Exactly. So at the very bottom, the last two items under projects are the body worn cameras for $25,596 and the Florence Sawyer School well pump upgrade for $36,000. I never asked you to officially vote to appropriate those funds. By doing so, it will leave a remaining balance, interest included, of $32,566.15. So I asked the board tonight to officially vote to approve the allocation of those funds to those two projects.
Okay. I think we've discussed those two projects previously, so I
Yes.
don't have any questions.
Mm-hmm.
Brian,
Nope.
would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, so I think let me know if I don't get this right. So it would be, I make a motion to approve the authorization for the town administrator to spend $25,596 of ARPA funds toward body worn cameras and $36,000 of ARPA funds toward the Florence Sawyer well pump upgrade. I think that's it.
I will second that. Okay, roll call. Brian,
Yes.
and I'm a yes also.
Great, thank you. And the only other thing I have to say, and it's not on the agenda, but it's just a statement, which is, and you said it well earlier, Bob, but I just want to wish Pam Powell well in her retirement. She has served the town tirelessly and well since she came here, I believe in 2007. I think is when she started. I could be wrong, but I think it was 2007. I do know that when I think of all the town hall employees that were here when I started my first day, Pam's the only one left. Ninotchka was over in Emerson at the time, along with the town treasurer and the building inspector. And it was one of my earlier decisions and recommendations was to move those people over into this building. So we had everybody under one roof, under one cohesive team. And in order to accomplish that, the select board at the time needed to approve freeing the space up that was our large conference room space down there. But I think it was a great decision by the board to do that because it did get everyone under one roof. And as you said earlier, Bob, Pam is leaving now for no reason other than she was waiting for the home rule petition to be approved and signed by the governor. And she had planned on retiring probably the end of 2023, maybe January, but she didn't want to leave the town in a difficult position without an official town clerk. So she stayed until that home rule petition was signed, which is another example of Pam's dedication to the town and her job. So again, she has been a wonderful colleague as well, someone that I use as a sounding board on things over the years. And I just wanted to say that she was an outstanding town clerk, in my opinion.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And unless the board has any questions for me, that's all I have this evening.
Okay, I'm all set. Nothing, okay. I see we do have someone from Environmental Pools who's joining us. So
Hey, how are you guys? Sorry about that.
no, that's fine. Welcome. We were a little early, so we kind of rearranged the agenda. And so we're coming back to your part.
Perfect.
Could I get your name, please?
Andy?
Andy, hi. I'm Bob Sikansky and Brian Boyle is here. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're requesting of the select board this evening?
Yep. So we obviously we own 357 Main Street that we're working out of currently. There was an existing sign down at the road. And what we're looking to do is we're looking to utilize that same footprint and that same structure that's there, other than just cleaning it up and veneering it to match some of the other artistic work that we've done on the property, and then build, signage for my company there. I believe this sign that's existing is non-conforming to what would be required nowadays in terms of distance off the street. So we're looking to get approval on utilizing that existing structure that's there and just making it look a lot nicer.
I see. And we're showing the signs right now. So
Yep.
Roughly 2/3 of each side would be Environmental Pools, and then you're expecting to have two tenants in the building also.
Correct. We already have one tenant in the building and we're working on getting another tenant in there.
Okay. Don, will they need to come back when they have signs for the tenants?
Yes, they will.
Okay, so that's clear. Brian, do you have any questions?
Yeah, and I have to admit, I think this is one of my first times as a member of the select board trying to apply our sign dimension bylaw. So definitely open to people helping me out here. But so when I'm looking at the signs that would be over the stone pedestal, where there's sorry, the other one, Jenny. Right, so right there under our bylaw, is like environmental pools considered one sign and then tenant one sign and then tenant two another sign, such that each one individually has to be under the square footage requirement, but together they can be bigger?
Yes,
Okay. All right. So then I think that these plans, as of right now, each individual sign would be okay under our bylaw. Is that right?
yes.
Okay.
I think even if you took the whole sign, it'd be appropriate under our bylaw.
Is that true? You could be right. I think I just saw something.
I'm looking at it, it's 8 feet wide and 4.5 feet from top to bottom, including the 357 Main Street.
And that would be 36 square feet, which is our maximum.
Oh, and then the stone foundation is also, it's not counted as part of that square footage, so it stays within the 36 square feet.
Mm,
Okay,
Correct.
great. Okay, thank you.
I notice you've got a sign on the building also, but that's not what we're discussing this evening.
We can discuss both of them if we want to. I know the one at the road seemed to me like that was the most pressing based
Yeah.
on the location being non-conforming. So I mean, we could talk to both of them because I'd like to get them both in motion.
They're both on the agenda, Bob.
Yes, they
Yeah.
are.
Oh, I see. Okay. I didn't understand the nomenclature. All right. Okay, Jenny, could we go look at the large sign then on the building?
And I used the less, excuse me, I used the less than sign just because I wasn't exactly sure how to calculate the square footage of a strangely shaped sign, a non-square sign.
Yeah.
But it's a little less than 36.
Mhm.
So if
Great.
we round it up, it's 6 feet wide by,
Oh, it's six, little over six, maybe.
6, yeah, so it's less than 6 by 6, which still keeps it within the 36 square feet. So I don't know if, the design review of the planning board gets to evaluate the shape of the sign or whatever. I'm fine with it. It appears to me that the sign is less than 36 square feet, so I'm okay with both.
Yep. Yeah, me too.
And I would add that I've been in town for a couple of decades and I've never seen any issue with that little island that the sign is on in any way affecting traffic. As a matter of fact, it's a convenient place for the police cars to hang out. So
Yeah.
it's been frequently used for that. So I don't have a problem with the fact that it's less than the new standard of 20 feet from the roadway.
Me neither.
If there are no other issues, anything else we should be considering, Don?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay,
Don, should they formalize a waiver for the bylaw for that offset? Or is it not necessary because it's pre-existing?
It's pre-existing, so no, it's not making it more non-conforming, so no, they don't need to do that.
so we just need to approve the sign. We don't need to approve the existing non-conforming.
Correct.
Okay. All right, could I have a motion?
Sure. I will make a motion to approve environmental pools proposed signs at 357 Main Street. One sign being less than 36 square feet on the building, the other sign being 36 square feet atop 16 square foot masonry pedestal at the road sign. I mean, at the roadside.
Okay, I will second that. Roll call, Brian,
Yes.
and I'm a yes also. So thank you very much, and
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
welcome
Good
to
luck.
Bolton, and I hope things go well.
So far, so good. I appreciate it, guys.
Thanks. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up is a request from the Neshoba Valley Pride Rally Committee. They would like to have a walking parade from Emerson School to the town common from 1 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. on June 1st. They ask us to approve a proclamation. They are asking for approval to hang a sign on the signboard at the town common and approval to have a pride banner on the railing at Pond Park. So Brian, there's a bunch of questions here, and I've got one, and I don't know exactly how to work this in. So I'm asking for your opinion. I would like the board to consider closing the sidewalk in front of the railing at Pond Park. And I think we should have that discussion first so that we can properly address the banner question at Pond Park. But if you're more comfortable dealing with the other 3 bullet points and making that one last, we could do that.
No, I think I agree with you because the question of the usage of the railing at Pond Park is a question that applies to requests beyond this specific one, and we ought to have that resolved first before we get into this, I would say.
Okay.
But I do think it's squarely presented by the request here.
Right. So what I'd like to do at this point is ask Randy Heglin, our Director of Department of Public Works, to come on and present a couple of alternative, rather than closing it entirely, a couple of alternatives and discuss which one is preferable. Randy, can you do that?
Yeah, sure. Jenny, do you have the sketches available?
I do.
Okay. I've been looking at this railing actually since I got here. I try and find a way of appropriately stabilizing it and making it safe for traffic and pedestrians alike. We recently signed a contract with a consulting firm to design the replacement of the culvert under Route 117, which also includes the head wall at Pond Park, which the railing sits on top of. I have had a couple of different vendors come out and look at the head wall to see if we can put something there temporarily to make it safe and secure. Guardrails, fences, and the head wall itself is in a cap on the head wall is in such poor shape that they did not recommend it. So I came up with a couple different options that if we decide to close the sidewalk, there's a couple of options. One of them would be to doesn't really show up really well, but to put basically Jersey barriers along the backside of the sidewalk, and then
Right up against the railing?
right up against, as tight as you can go up against the railing, and to move to extend the sidewalk out the 5 feet, which would bring it out into the breakdown lane of that section of Main Street, opposite the home building, east of Mechanic. You can see on the sketch here, the black is the my thought for the guardrail, and then in the breakdown lane there is a dark line that runs like parallel to the granite curbing, and we'd have to fill that in approximately. Yes, thank you, exactly. The second option I came up with, and again, it was a means of trying to maintain pedestrian traffic, pedestrian ability for pedestrians to continue using the sidewalk, would be to put a 4-foot type, 4 to 6 foot type chain link fence as tight as you can go against the railing. That would provide pedestrian safety, and then put a row of Jersey barriers within the breakdown lane, appropriately marked and warned, etc. I ran both scenarios by both proposals, both thoughts by the police chief, and he thought this option here, the second option, was the better of the two, in his opinion. The cost on both options are pretty similar, around $15,000.
With this second scenario, would we be relying on the existing railing to be holding up the chain link fence?
No, we would have to find a means of securing the chain link fence in the existing, go through the existing sidewalk. I think we can get down there deep enough to support it. It won't obviously support a traffic load. That was always the challenge there, was to put some type of barrier to sustain a vehicle from going over the top of the retaining wall.
Okay.
So no, that's why I said it'd be like a 4 or 6 foot fence, typical what you see. I'm undecided whether it'd be a temporary type fence. I have a little bit of a trip concern over, sometimes when they do temporary, they just use the galvanized feet on them. Essentially, it looks like an inverted T, and I'm a little bit concerned about potentially a pedestrian tripping over it and getting hurt, something like that. So it may be just posts mounted into the sidewalk. That's my current thought. I haven't discussed it in detail with the fence company yet. I was going to discuss it with the company that we had working in front of the town hall, repairing the railing fence that we had there. But he pulled out of town too quick for me, and I got to get him back in to look at it. But I did want the opinion of the board. This was something I was thinking of doing this summer anyway, going before the board to discuss this because of the deterioration of the railing over the last several years, but I was kind of waiting till after July 1st due to budgetary constraints as well.
Yeah. Down at the bottom of what's on the screen, it says install 4-foot high temporary chain fence back of, and I can't make out that last word.
It's walk, W-A-L-K.
Oh, walk. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't, and a close parentheses. I was lazy with the close parentheses.
Of the two alternatives, which one provides access to a broader range of people? For example, I believe school children walk this way to school. Obviously not a lot of them, but I think there are a couple. And seniors who want to go to the library from the senior center would be passing through here. I have seen people in wheelchairs going from the senior center to Bolton Bean. I don't motorized wheelchairs. I don't know if they go this far, much farther down the road. But is there a difference between the two proposals in terms of its accessibility by different groups of people?
Either proposal would maintain the accessibility of the sidewalk. Could probably actually improve it a little bit. Personally, I like this second option better because it provides some protection to the pedestrians in the sidewalk. You know, you have the barrier between them. Right. Versus on the other option, it's pushing the pedestrians out closer to the travel lane. Granted, the traffic through there isn't high speed, but you still can get errant drivers and those that aren't paying attention and create a problem.
You have to put a couple of barriers back on along the Mechanic Street side, along the street. Just if somebody was errant, they would hit the barriers before they'd hit a pedestrian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the last one or maybe the last two would be angled in a little bit, but you still have to maintain the width of the sidewalk, pedestrian way.
All right, Brian.
I mean, from what I've heard, it seems like option 2 is the way to go. And my understanding is, so this would be temporary until the culvert project is done.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, that could be years. We've got the design, and then once the design is complete, the funding is going to be the challenge. There's a third option too. You could close it off entirely to pedestrians and force the pedestrians to cross Main Street to the north side and go up along the north side. There's a sidewalk all the way to the town hall.
Mhm.
but you'd have to get them back, a means to get them back across the street. I'm not comfortable with that only because of the curve that exists there, the horizontal curve. Putting a sidewalk mid-block is not a great idea. I've been putting a crosswalk mid-block like that, and it being on the way the curve is, it's kind of it would be a kind of a blind corner. And I know vehicles do come up from 495 side in the afternoon, especially if there's any break in traffic, they're moving right along. And I think that would be more of a hazard for pedestrians. So that's why I kind of went with either one of these two options.
You know, it's not obvious now because it's late in the afternoon, but during the winter, crossing Main Street anytime after 4 is going to be risky.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I would prefer option number 2. Mary Chiromo, you have some comments?
Yes, thank you. So yes, definitely to option 2, because the barriers will provide much more protection for pedestrians. I'm somewhat familiar with the daytime foot traffic, and most people use the north side, this side of the sidewalk, especially students who are walking home from school. I also want to remind you that this section of walkway is on the Complete Streets prioritization report, which means that we could apply for a Complete Streets grant to make improvements to this stretch of the sidewalk. So that's something to consider if you're looking for a way to make money, to save money.
Well, making money's good too. If you come up with some ideas for that.
Yeah. If I may, when I went out for the request for qualifications for the engineering services for replacement of the culvert, the old stone culvert and the head wall, I included in the scope improvements to the sidewalk along both sides of 117 in that stretch. That's included. And I purposely did that because by including sidewalks and other roadway improvements, it opens it up to some other different types of potential funding out there, like a TIP funding, or like Mary said, Complete Streets. So we're aware of that. So we have the money right now for the design work that was very graciously supported and approved by the state legislature through Representative Hogan's office. So we have the design dollars, and I think that will get us a long way and it'll give us a stronger application moving forward. If we are well under design, it shows a commitment on the part of the town to get additional funding for the actual construction and
Okay.
replacement of the culvert, head wall, and sidewalks.
Okay. If we do this, specifically option number 2, what are our alternatives for banner placements?
Could, depending upon the height of the, chain link fence, perhaps could put them on the chain link fence that will be there. Up until we place the barriers, a banner could go on the existing railings as it's done in the past.
Okay.
Randy, did you? I'm remembering, I think correctly, that you had made a comment that for some temporary approach, you could put a couple of I'll call them poles up at the common and be able to string a banner there. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
we could. Absolutely, we could do that if if that's a decision. We could either do it a couple of pressure treated posts on either the Houghton property to the right of the driveway. You can kind of see right now where there's a black sign at the back side of the sidewalk right there. There's a piece of parcel there in front of the wall there that we could put a couple of. It doesn't have necessarily the visibility of a banner on the other side of the road, or you could do it potentially on the common. We could put up a couple 4x4 posts that could be utilized for that purpose as well. And the visibility at the common, I think, would be pretty substantial.
If we, let's say we approved option number 2 tonight, when would that occur? When would these changes occur? Putting up the barriers and putting up the fences? How long a lead time is that?
It would be after July 1st.
Okay,
Okay, because I don't have the funds right now. I'm not comfortable with committing the funds at this point.
no, that's
So,
fine. Is the
if I have
railing
money in
safe?
June, it's possible, but
Is the railing safe to put banners on it?
pardon me?
Is the railing safe to put banners on?
Yeah, there's a couple of the vertical posts that have complete section loss that but I think it's safe enough for a banner. It's not gonna knock the post over.
Okay. Do you need a vote on which of these 2 options, or I think you have consensus between the 2 of us to do this?
I don't know if I necessarily need a vote, but I very much appreciate the support. I don't
Yeah.
want to have surprises or whatever,
I want to see the railing blocked off, and option 2 is the better choice here.
Yep, I agree with that.
We want to get pedestrians away from relying on the railing. And once the fencing goes up, we can put the banners on the fencing. Okay. Are we all right with that, Don, or do you have some reservations about that proceeding?
Excuse me, I have no reservations. I guess the only question I would have, and you don't have to solve for it tonight since the fence won't go up until July, but we talked about a 4-foot fence or a 6-foot fence. If you have a 4-foot fence, once the Jersey barriers are up, they would probably block the bottom part of the banner. So I'm thinking we may need a 6-foot fence so that the bottom of the banner can be viewed above the barriers. But again, you don't have to solve for that tonight. That's more of an observation.
Is there
That's
a reason we
a
can't-
valid point, very valid point. I think I priced out a 4-foot fence. My pricing was basically using Mass DOT weighted averages, so I may even be on the high side, but
But if we go to 6 feet, that's not going to affect our ability to install that fence, is it?
No, it won't.
Okay.
I'd have to check with the fence folks. With the higher you go, the deeper you need to go on your posts.
Oh,
Right,
Because you've
so-
got more weight above, so you have more of a. I would have to double check with the
Okay.
fence folks.
So
no.
I guess you'll have to come back to the board when you've got that information.
Yeah, no problem.
Sorry, can I just quickly summarize what I think I've heard? So it sounds like there's general consensus that we want to go with option 2, but it sounds like the earliest that could happen would be July 1, right? Which means that I don't think I'm hearing any changes or blocking of the sidewalk contemplated before July 1, because in the meantime, we still need to use that sidewalk as a way for pedestrians to move. Is that right? We're not going to rope that off between now and July 1. We're going to leave it as is.
I believe that's what we're saying.
Yeah, but Brian has an interesting thought, and and this has been in the back of my mind. Right now, we've all known that this is potentially a problem. We've identified the problem, so we're buying a certain amount of liability now until it's repaired. I mean, we can put temporary barrels up with construction fencing between it or something like that. We can do something like that temporarily, or even like the snow fence stakes, the metal fence post stakes. We could put something like that up now temporarily. We have those materials in stock, so there's no charge, and that would provide some protection for pedestrians that are utilizing the sidewalk.
You'd put that on along the railing?
I'd put it as close to the railing as I can possibly put it, backside of the sidewalk. as close to the railing as I can put it.
That would be a good idea, because people are gonna use that sidewalk, and we don't wanna force them out in the street without a good remedy.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, I mean, that was something that came up in my mind as we were discussing it. I thought of it before too, where we're identifying the liability by doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
We can take some emergency measures to secure the area. I can get that stuff up in a week or so.
Okay,
Inhibit someone's ability to be able to hang a banner there?
That was the other thing, is because I think I heard Mr. Hegland say that the existing railing wouldn't like fall over from a banner or anything, but I'm just wondering if it feels like we're trying to deter people from spending too much time in that area. So even if we could put a banner there, I'm wondering if we may want to just consider putting it somewhere else. Even if technically that sidewalk is still open. I don't know. I don't mean to be unnecessarily complicating it. I'm just trying to.
well, if we put a snow fence up, we could still put a banner there.
Okay.
Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I mean, you could attach them to the post to the that snow fence is attached to.
If this, we're doing this by the seat of our pants. If this doesn't work out, then we'll have to bring it back to the board and come up with another solution. But I think, we're working through this on the fly. We don't really want to give up the sidewalk, so we've got to come up with something. I see another question, Ms. Compton.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm Mary Compton. I just wanted to say, I know that it's not the plan at the moment, but I wouldn't even consider closing that sidewalk at least until school gets out, because you have a lot of kids from Florence Sawyer who, once they get up into middle school, they're walking to the Bolton Bean at the end of school. So I don't think you want to force them to have to cross the road under any circumstances. So just something to think about.
No, that's fair comment. So we're gonna put up snow fencing along the existing railing. We believe we can put, I'm trying to summarize here, we believe we can put banners on top of the snow fencing until we come up with a more permanent temporary solution, I guess is the way to put it. But if there's any complications, it's just gotta come back to the board, and we'll have to revisit these decisions.
That makes sense.
Okay, Randy, Don?
No, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I do as well.
Okay, are there any other comments from members of the public? All right, I don't see any. Okay. Going back to our agenda item, the Neshoba Valley Pride Rally for 2024. Is there someone representing the rally committee who's with us this evening?
Yep.
Oh, Ms. Compton.
Yeah.
Please.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank
Please
you.
tell us about the event.
So first of all, my name is Mary Compton. I'm the coordinator for the event this year as well as last year. Kevin Wesley, who lives in Stowe, is one of the co-coordinators. He's also on the call tonight. And we have scheduled the event this year for Saturday, June 1st, from 1 to 5 in the afternoon. And we're just looking for approval for the parade going from Emerson School over to the Common, as well as the signs on the fence and at the Common, and also for the Pride Proclamation for the month of June.
Okay. Any comments? Okay, I see that the police chief has approved the safety plan. He did that
Yes.
back in March, which is excellent. Are there any other questions or comments about the event or what's being asked of the board?
I just wanted to clarify, you said that the total event time would be 1 to 5?
Yes,
right?
that's correct.
Okay, great. And the parade would be 1 to 1:30?
Approximately. We'll start at 1. It doesn't take very long to walk over there. So that's about what it was, 20 minutes or so.
Yep. Okay.
And you heard our banner discussion.
I did.
I think, you're gonna have to indulge us if things don't go
Yeah.
smoothly on this. But
Yes, absolutely.
Brian, would you like to make a motion? Or would you like me to read the proclamation first?
Sure. Yeah, I was just gonna say, I don't know if we want to have a motion to approve everything at once, but I think we should read the proclamation at some point.
Okay. So this is the Pride Month proclamation for June 2024. Whereas June 2024 marks the 55th annual celebration throughout the United States of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, LGBTQIA+, Pride Month. And whereas the month of June was chosen to commemorate the dedication of bravery who led the 1969 uprising at Stonewall Tavern in Greenwich Village, which sparked the modern LGBTQIA+ liberation movement. And whereas the town of Bolton believes in working together with all of the members of our community to facilitate open relationships, providing safety, dignity, and a welcoming environment for our residents and visitors. And whereas Bolton recognizes and values the contribution that each and every resident makes to work, recreation, and civic life in our town. And whereas LGBTQIA+ members of our town are full and participating members of our community. And whereas LGBTQIA+ youth are at especially high risk of experiencing discrimination, mistreatment, and violence, and have increased suicide rates. And the town is committed to ensuring that they are therefore safe, valued, and supported. Now, therefore, be it resolved that June 2024 be declared Pride Month in the town of Bolton, and that all residents be encouraged to recognize and acknowledge the contributions of the LGBTQIA+ members of our community as we continue to advance the principles of liberty, equity, and inclusivity for all.
Great. Thank
Very
you.
good.
So I'm just scrolling back up to make sure that I make the proper motion.
Yep.
Okay. So I'd like to make a motion to approve several requests related to the Neshoba Valley Pride Rally 2024, including first the request for a walking parade from the Emerson School to the town common from approximately 1 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. on June 1st, 2024. Second, to approve the proclamation to make June 2024 Pride Month in the town of Bolton. Third, to approve the hanging of a sign on the signboard at the town common. And fourth, to approve the hanging of the Pride banner on the railing at Pond Park.
I will second that. All those in favor, roll call. Brian?
Yes.
And I'm a yes also. All right, thank you very much, Ms. Compton and the gentleman from Stowe. Sorry, I forgot your name, but appreciate it very much.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mary, Mary, would you mind sending me new copy with tonight's meeting date? This got carried over from last meeting.
Yes, of course. No problem, Jenny.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you,
Good
Mary.
night.
Next on our agenda is Senior Appreciation Month for 2024, and
Yep. Mary's
see.
Chumo's there.
So
she good?
hi, Mary
Oh,
Chumo.
there
So
you are. Okay, I didn't see you there. Sorry.
So I'm representing Friends of Bolton Seniors, and once again, May is coming up, and we're joining the government's administration for community living as they lead the nation in observing Older Americans Month, which we call Senior Appreciation Month in Bolton. So I am here asking for approval for, yes, a banner, and I promise I won't lean too heavily against that railing when I put it up. And also approval for the proclamation. So this year's theme for Senior Appreciation Month is Powered by Connection, which recognizes the profound impact that meaningful relationships and social connections have on our health and well-being. And so Friends of Bolton Seniors and the COA, along with other community groups such as Neshoba Neighbors and the Bolton Community Fund, have filled the calendar at the Senior Center in the month of May with lots of activities. And so it should be a great month, and I reach out to everybody to recognize our senior population and realize that really isolation is a big issue with our older people, and that social connections are really, really important. So we have the proclamation, and Bob, you are the chairperson, if you don't mind reading it.
Certainly. Thank you. This is for Senior Appreciation Month, which would be May of this year. And whereas May is Older Americans Month, a time for us to recognize and honor Bolton's older adults and their immense influence on every facet of American society. And whereas through their wealth of life experience and wisdom, older adults guide our younger generations and carry forward abundant cultural and historical knowledge. And whereas older Americans improve our communities through intergenerational relationships, community service, civic engagement, and many other activities. And whereas communities benefit when people of all ages, abilities, and backgrounds have the opportunity to participate and live independently. And whereas the town of Bolton must ensure that older Americans have the resources and support needed to stay involved in their communities, reflecting our commitment to inclusivity and connectedness. And now, therefore, we, the Select Board of the Town of Bolton, Massachusetts, do hereby proclaim May 2024 as Older Americans Month. This year's theme, Powered by Connection, emphasizes the profound impact of meaningful interactions and social connection on the well-being and health of older adults in our community. We call upon all residents to join us in recognizing the contributions of our older citizens and promoting programs and activities that foster connection, inclusion, and support for older adults. Thank you.
Thank you. And we will have this on display once it's signed at the Senior Center.
Oh, great.
Excellent. Okay.
I had two questions about the banner, and I apologize. I know that a bunch of emails came in late in the day, so I don't know if that included. Did we get a visual anywhere of the banner being proposed for Senior Appreciation Month?
You know, I put it on our Facebook page every year.
And while you're thinking about that, the other question that I had was in relation to how the banner policy applies in terms of the 2-week time duration, because I know.
Okay.
Well, I'm just wondering. I'm wondering. So with the event that we just approved being held on June 1st,
Right.
I would assume that those folks would be instructed they could keep the banner up for 2 weeks before June 1st. I don't know, because the event here is a month, how it works. So I don't know if Bob knows or anybody wants to
So
weigh in.
actually, I was supposed to be on your agenda Jenny, what was the one that was canceled? The last
That
meeting
was
that was
the 11th.
canceled. Yeah. But I mean, I put it up May 1st. I've got it down the end of May. So, I mean, they'll have plenty of time to put their banner up. I don't leave this banner sitting there past its due
The
date.
railing, and I presume the snow fence that's going to cover it, is more than 100 feet long.
It's a big banner.
So how long is your banner?
Oh, Lord. I'm going to say maybe 6, 7 feet.
Long?
Yeah.
All right, so we could put at least 10 of those up.
Yeah, I could put it way
No,
at
but
the end of the railing.
Where I'm going is I think there's a room to put this senior appreciation banner up and have the other banner up 2 weeks ahead of the event.
Okay, that makes sense. We don't have
Yeah.
a bandwidth capacity issue. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll make a
That's why I
point.
was joking about, we could put 6 of these appreciation month banners up. But I think the other one was 15 feet long, but even if this one were 15 feet long, we're still okay.
No, there's definitely ample space there. I mean, banner requests don't normally make it to the board. The town administrator just approves them. But since it's part of the Senior Appreciation Month and the proclamation and all, the banners always comes here. But no, we've had multiple banners there before, and it's really not a concern.
Okay.
Okay, great.
You're right. I overlooked the fact that there's no banner example of the banner. I'm going to assume it's the same as last year, just change the year. Okay. Are you okay with that, Brian, or do you have some reservations?
No, I don't. I mean, I remember seeing it last year and not thinking there was anything objectionable, so I assume it's the same flavor.
Okay. All right. Could I have a motion?
Yes, I will make a motion to approve the request by the Friends of the Bolton Seniors to hang a banner along the railing at Pond Park to commemorate Senior Appreciation Month for the month of May 2024, and also to approve the Senior Appreciation Month 2024 proclamation powered by Connection.
I will second that. Roll call, Brian?
Yes.
And I'm a yes also. All right. Thank you very much, Mary.
Thank you.
We'll see you at the banner hanging.
Thanks, Mary.
Okay.
Next on our agenda is a request to place 2 4-foot benches at 0 Berlin Road, which is at the intersection of Fry Lane, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
And we would also be accepting the benches as a gift in honor of Ray Fowl. Christine Henderson.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank
Tell
you.
us,
Thank you.
The reasoning behind this request.
Thank you for your time, first and foremost. I'm here with Catherine Fow. We lost a very important member of our community in November last year, Ray Fow. He and Catherine actually kind of ties in with Mary's presentation. They were co-founders of the Neshoba Neighbors, which helps seniors stay in place as they age. But he also was the founder of the Repair Cafe and part of the Rotary Club, many areas that he was involved in town. He was a man who put community, friends, family, and environment as his priorities, and we were hoping to honor him by placing 2 4-foot benches in that little triangular park that we have between Berlin Road, Quaker Lane, and Highland. There had been some benches there in the past that fell apart. They're no longer there, but we thought it would be kind of a nice way to honor him and have a place for people to enjoy a little space in the environment and a little quiet. So we're hoping that we might be able to get that approved.
Sure. Jenny, could you show us an example of what these benches would look like?
Yeah. These benches are 100% recycled material, which kind of goes with Ray's environmental, trying to keep things out of the landfills.
So I think the color and shape is really appropriate for the location.
First of all, I think this is a lovely idea, certainly a fitting tribute to somebody who gave a lot to the community. I did have a question. I think if you scroll down, Jenny, there's an example of yeah, right there. So is that kind of like the size of the plaque that might, you know, list Ray's name, as opposed to if you scroll back up those huge letters that said City of Cleghorn?
Yes, I was looking for the smaller sign, as long as, you know, Catherine, do you agree?
Yes.
Yes, just something with his name to honor him.
Yeah.
And Ray, but not the city of.
Right.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't have any questions. I'm fine with that. So we have to accept the gift. We have to approve the place. Could I have a motion?
Sure, of course. So I would make a motion to both accept the gift of 2 4-foot benches on 0 Berlin Road in honor of Ray Pfau, and also to approve the placement of those benches in that spot, again, in honor of Ray Pfau.
I will second that. Roll call, Brian,
Yes.
and I'm a yes also.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
both.
you very much.
Thank
We don't
both
need a
of you very
banner.
much, and
Thank you for your time.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Good night.
Good night.
Next, we have a request for removal of 100 feet of guardrail in front of 114 Oak Trail Road. And I think this brings us back to Randy Heglin from the DPW. Randy, will you want to just walk us through what's
Sure.
behind this request?
Good evening again.
Good evening.
This is a request I'm putting forward for a person, a future resident who would like to build a house at 114 Oak Trail. In front of the home, he would like to have a circular driveway. And existing topography is such that a guardrail is needed for safety reasons. They're proposing to fill in the front yard of the property, make it more level. Once that's done, the warrants for a guardrail will no longer be met, so it's really not needed anymore. So they're seeking permission to remove section of the guardrail in front of the property. My recommendation, I don't have an objection, but my recommendation is that the guardrail be only removed after the yard is filled. And I think that was in my memo to the board.
Okay.
Yes, it was ready.
And I'd like to have it confirmed by the designer too, Dillis and Roy. In your package, you should have a email that was received to me from Greg Roy at Dillis and Roy, confirming that, you know, once the lot is filled, that the warrants for a guardrail will no longer be met. So the guardrail will not be necessary.
Okay. Who's going to, well, let me ask a question. First off, I'll call it a swale. Where this swale exists now, is that important for drainage? And if so, what's going to happen to the water that goes in there now?
They have in their design, they've accommodated that. And right now it's a lot more than a swale. It's just a pretty steep drop off. The road, I think, was actually filled when they constructed the roadway.
Okay.
And
So
so
it's
I
not
think
really, it's really not there for drainage purposes. It's just
no, it's
vacant
it's,
space.
Yeah, fall off protection, basically.
And who's going to review it and say that the fill's been complete and yes, it's permissible for the guardrail to be removed. Would that be you?
My recommendation is we get something from the engineer, the designer certifying that the lot has been filled as intended, as it was expected. I see Greg is on the as well. And of course, I'm going to go and look at it obviously before as well. And then once, it's up to the board if you leave that decision to me or whoever to make that final decision once we have documentation in hand
Okay.
that they can go and remove it.
All right, at this point, would Mr. Roy or I believe Mr. Cool is also, I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly.
You got the name correct, sir. Thank you very much. Thanks for allowing this, the opportunity to be on this call with you guys, and really appreciate you giving us a hearing.
Thank you. Mr. Roy, would you like to address some of these questions that have been presented tonight?
Sure. I don't have much to say. I think Randy summarized it very well. I did, as Randy suggested, submit a brief letter with the findings of our analysis. We took a look at the Massachusetts Design Development Guideline for Highway Design Manual, the section that relates to roadside barriers, and there's a flow chart, if you will, that you go through, and an analysis that you go through to look at the slope and to see if a warrant exists to see if a guardrail or a roadside barrier is warranted. Where it's really, truthfully, it's kind of on the fence when this was designed as to whether or not it would even be warranted with the way it is now, but it was put in as a design feature because of the slope that existed, and it is indeed, as Randy said, a fill slope. But once the front yard is filled, it'll essentially be level with the roadway. There will be a swale that we will maintain so that we can accommodate the runoff from the paved area. This particular development functions with open drainage through roadside swales, so we will create that swale and install the appropriate driveway culverts to convey that water. But after that fill is placed, we would not meet the warrant for a guardrail based on that Massachusetts design guideline. And then just the only other thing I want to say is we are happy as the design engineers to prepare a as-built plan, if you will, with showing the grades once the fill is in place, and submit that to Randy with a request at that time to remove the guardrail. I think that is fair and appropriate. Certainly wouldn't want to have that removed before the fill's in place. So that would be perfectly acceptable. And I'm happy to answer any other questions if you have them, Mr. Chair.
Brian?
Nope.
Nothing?
That all sounds good to me too.
All right, well, I see there's a draft letter as part of our package. I don't know, have you had a chance to look at that, Brian?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so one of the stipulations are the lot is filled, elevations are confirmed by Dillis and Roy, as you just referenced. Certification is provided to the Department of Public Works, Randy Heglin, and written approval to proceed is granted by Department of Public Works, Randy Heglin. That touches on all of my concerns at this point.
Yep.
So if there aren't any other issues, Brian, would you like to make a motion?
Sure. I would like to make a motion to approve the request for removal of the 100 feet of guardrail in front of 114 Oak Trail, subject to the conditions set forth in the draft letter of approval.
Okay. Before I second that, I thought of one more question. The town is not going to pay for the removal of the guardrail. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. The town, okay, it's going to be privately.
We almost snuck it in there, but no. No, that's correct.
All right. In that case, I will second the motion. Roll call, Brian.
Yes.
And I'm a yes also. So, all right, thank you very much. I appreciate all
appreciate
the
it.
documentation you provided. It was very helpful. And welcome to Bolton, Mr. Cool.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Haglund. Greg has been supportive, and hugely appreciate meeting you guys remotely, but this feels like in person. We're allowed to be there as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great.
Have a
Have a
good
great
night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Normally on part of the agenda, this is where we go to the town administrator's report. I enjoyed it so much the last time. I was thinking of asking Don to do it again, but I don't know how you feel about that, Brian.
There's a phrase about like again, but I don't know. No, I don't want to hear it again.
Okay.
But I have some bullet items that I can add.
Okay.
Right, Jenny?
Are
No,
there
Jenny
any
says no.
public,
Okay.
any
I won't.
public service announcements? Any items for, any items?
No.
I have a public service announcement.
Yes.
I just want to remind everybody to get the Stowe and Bolton Independent out of their mailbox. A copy was delivered to every house in town, and it should contain your warrant for the annual town meeting on May 6th. Please bring your warrant with you.
Oh, good point. Thank you, Jenny. Any future agenda items?
No.
Okay. Next is to accept a service contract for an existing Class 2 license held by Castro Auto Repair, Inc. at 333 Central Street, Hudson, being on map 1.C parcel 27.0-0 South Bolton Road in Bolton. Don, could you just walk us through this, please?
Yes, this is required because if you have a Class 2 license, you must also have a documented relationship with a repair outfit. And up until this point, the business owner has also had his own, repair capabilities on site. He is selling off that portion of the business to a third party. Therefore, he has an agreement, a written agreement with that third party, so that with whom he will do business for any repairs. So this is why this is back on the agenda, because normally the Class 2 license is just renewed every year. But because he's made this transfer in ownership, it's necessary for the board to approve this. And it's all fine. I'm sorry?
That's almost correct. The contract is actually with his own repair shop because he's not contracting with the owner of the repair shop that's going to be on site because he's already the owner of a business in Marlboro. So this is a contract with his business in Marlboro.
Jenny is correct. I was misremembering what I was trained to say. So yes, yes, he does still own the business, that business in Marlboro. He is contracting with himself, but at a location other than that location. Jenny was right. I was wrong. It took
I got
15
that
years.
recorded this time.
Took 15 years. Took 15 years for me to say it on the air.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Any questions, comments from anybody?
No, I mean, just interesting. I learned something new. I didn't realize. So I have no issues with approving this.
All right. Want to make a motion?
Sure. So I make a motion to approve the request from I make a motion to approve the request to accept the service contract for the existing Class 2 license held by Castro Auto Repair, Inc., 333 Central Street, Hudson, located map 1.C, parcel 27.0-0 South Bolton Road, Bolton.
All right, I will second that. Roll call, Brian?
Yes.
And I'm a yes also. Okay, next up is review and approve revised municipal transfer station and recycling center regulations.
So yes, this is a follow-up to a discussion the board had earlier about modifying the rules and regs at the transfer station. We had our edits to them. It was sent to town council. Council reviewed them and made his recommendations. We have a red line and a final version. I haven't received any comments or questions yet from the board on the final product, but if you have any, we'll do our best to answer them.
You already answered the question I was going to ask, which was, has town council seen this version? And the answer is yes.
Yes, he has.
And it seems to me that the main difference is that we're taking the penalties out of this part of the regulations and moving them over to the code of the town of Bolton.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't have any questions.
Me neither.
All right. Would you like to make a motion?
Yes. I make a motion to approve the revised municipal transfer station and recycling center regulations.
I'll second that. Roll call, Brian,
Yes.
and I'm a yes also. Okay, next up is to appoint, in accordance with the provisions of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40B, Section 24, to appoint Pamela Harding to serve as representative to the Metropolitan Area Planning Council for a term of 3 years. Don, do you want to just briefly explain what that is for?
It is the regional planning agency that the town of Bolton is affiliated with, and whoever our town planner is routinely reappointed for a term. Pam has been serving out, Pam started with us in September, so she's served out this term now, so she's being reappointed to another term.
Okay.
Sounds great to me. I will make a motion in accordance with the provisions of MGL Chapter 40B, Section 24, to appoint Pamela Harding to serve as Bolton's representative to the Metropolitan Area Planning Council for a term of 3 years.
I will second that. Roll call, Brian.
Yes.
I'm a yes also. We'd like to accept a gift of $500 from the Murphy Family Foundation for the care and keeping of the Comfort Canine in the police department. The dog's name is Denny.
I should have asked Jenny ahead of time whether she would be able to display a picture of Denny during this portion, because he's so cute. But,
he really is.
I was about to ask the same thing. But, yeah.
If I may, just before you vote to accept the gift, since we got Denny, Denny is taken care of very well by our school resource officer, and as trains Denny as its obviously primary owner. Well, we own it, but she takes care of it and does a wonderful job. So Casey has started for the past several months, has been submitting an update. There's Denny.
Oh.
Has been submitting an update to the as part of the monthly report that Chief Nelson sends me. And I thought the timing was really good just to read the Denny portion of the Chief's monthly report for March. And Casey says, Chief, this month was extremely busy for Denny. Some highlights include cheering on the boys basketball team during the home playoff game, reading to Mrs. Benoit's pre-K class during Community Helpers Day, and kicked off the 3rd annual dodgeball tournament to raise money for the senior class. Denny was invited by Assistant Superintendent Friend as a special guest to welcome the district members to their professional development day. Finally, Denny was recognized as the Wolf of the Week for his ongoing support and school spirit. Outside of school, we spoke to the Girl Scouts to help them earn their animal helper badge, and we attended our 2-day school resource officer in-service training in Norwood. Finally, we continue to prepare for his K-9 Good Citizens test on April 6th. We look forward to another busy month in April. Respectfully submitted, Casey and Denny. So that's the latest report on Denny's activities in March, and it is just such a great addition to the police department. He is incredibly popular. It's just been such a generous and effective gift from the Murphy family. So I thought you might like hearing that.
No, that's
good.
awesome.
And it's nice to know that, you know, he's going to school and doing well and graduating, and he's going to get the K-9 Good Citizen Award and stuff like that. I hope he passes the test.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was a valedictorian.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And Don, to your point, yes, the Murphy family's been very generous with this, supported getting Denny in the first place through his training, through his first year. It's not been costing the town anything to have him there. It's given our police officers a lot of entree into events and groups of people they would otherwise not be able to really have contact with. So it's been a great program.
Yes, and many students in a time of anxiety have found Denny to be great comfort to have him there. So it's just been wonderful.
Good. All right, could I have, go ahead, Brian.
On that note, with great appreciation to the Murphy Family Foundation, I would like to move to accept the gift of $500 from the Murphy Family Foundation to provide for the carekeeping of our comfort canine, Denny.
I will second that. Roll call, Brian?
Yes.
And I'm a yes also. Okay, good. Could I have a motion to approve bills and payroll warrants?
Yes. Not on video, Bob. Come on. All right. So I'll make a motion to approve the bills and payroll warrants W24-20, W24-20A, and W24-21 and W24-21A.
I will second that without repeating it.
Great.
Roll call, Brian?
Yes.
I'm a yes also. I apologize for my gaffe. We do not have any minutes to review. Is that correct?
That is not correct. There are minutes, but there are no changes on them.
Okay. Could we, what minutes are those?
Let's see. They are February 29th, March 14th, and March 28th.
I have a motion on the minutes.
Yeah. Jenny, correct me if I got it wrong. I would make a motion to approve the minutes of February 29th, March 14th, and March 28th.
That is correct.
2024.
Do you want me to confirm that you were at all of those meetings?
Oh, you know what? That's great. Sorry. Thank you for, I think it was.
So sorry, I put them in a very safe place. Here they are. March 28th, you were there. February 29th, you were there.
Oh, maybe March 14th. I was not there.
March 14th. Well, I have you listed as present at all of them, so there may be a mistake.
No, I think anyway, I think we postponed a meeting where I was not going to be present. Remember?
Oh, and maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So carry on. Sorry about that.
Okay. You made the motion. I think I seconded it. If not, I'll second it a second time. And roll call, Brian,
Yes.
and I'm a yes also. Okay, just to bring people up to date, we have been at the beginning of the year, Don Lowe gave us notice that he was going to be retiring as of June 30th. Or actually last November, December, you gave us notice, is that correct?
October, actually.
October, okay, and we started the process of a search committee. We hired an outside consultant. We put a search committee together to review the candidates that came in. We had something like 15 resumes come in. The search committee narrowed it down to 4 finalists. The select board met with the finalists on Tuesday night. We had a further deliberation without the candidates there on Wednesday night, and we offered the position to a very remarkable, qualified individual by name of Marie Sobolvaro. We are now in contract negotiations with Ms. Sobolvaro, and pending the successful completion of those negotiations, we would have a new town administrator. But we are still in negotiations, and when those get confirmed, we'll bring people up to date again. And but that's where we stand at this point. We think we're in a good position to transition. One of my dogs is getting anxious. I don't know if you just heard her growling at me as she's bored. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
She was just saying hi to Marie.
I agree that we're in a good position, and
We're in a
I'm
good
looking
position.
forward to that.
So I don't have anything else. Do we need to take care of anything else? No? All right.
I don't think I had anything else to go back over. Jenny, am I missing something?
You are not?
Okay. We do have an executive session on the agenda for tonight. We do not need to go into executive session, so we will not, and we will just go to adjournment as soon as we have a motion.
Okay, well, I will make a motion to adjourn.
I will second that. All roll call, Brian,
Yes.
and I am in favor of adjournment also. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you both. Good night.
Have a good night.
Thank you. The time for the record is 8:39 p.m. Good night.
Thank you.